straight from Abraham to Abraham. In Genesis 17 from verse 1 to 5, we can see that very clearly. Moses also was a man that touched God. When I'm talking about touching God, I'm talking about having an encounter with God. A raw encounter, a definite encounter. Moses touched God, and by that touch that he had with God, he was imparted with fearlessness. We know the story of Moses very well. Moses, after he saw that the two Egyptian and Israelites were fighting, Moses killed the Egyptian and buried him, and when the news spread, Moses ran away. Fearfulness was imparted in him, but by the time he encountered God, the Bible told us that Moses returned to Pharaoh in Exodus chapter 5 and in verse 1. Moses returned to Pharaoh and said to Pharaoh, God has said that you should let my people go. He touched God. Isaiah also touched God. Isaiah was doing ministry. In the book of Isaiah chapter 1, reading from verse 1 to 5, Isaiah was already prophesying. But in Isaiah chapter 6, reading from verse 1 to 8, the Bible told us that in the year that King Uzziah died, this was Isaiah talking now. I saw the Lord. The question I began to ask myself is, what were the revelations we were having before? What were the prophecies we were giving to people before? But in Isaiah chapter 6, there was a fresh encounter he had. That encounter he had gave him redirection in ministry. He touched God. Gideon also touched God. He had an encounter with God. Genesis chapter 6, 11 to 16. An encounter that the man had. He came out from the poorest of the families. He came out, he was the least in his family, from a very poor family. But one encounter that he had made him the deliverer of the whole nation. We have many of them. Solomon had an encounter, he became the wisest man. Nicodemus had an encounter, his life was changed. Blind Bartimaeus had an encounter, there was a transformation. His eyesight was restored. Jacob had an encounter. A chief, a supplanter, became a nation. The reason why I'm saying this to us today is so that you can become hungry for an encounter. Apostle Paul had an encounter, and then one encounter that he had, that touch that he touched the Lord, in the book of Acts chapter 9 from verse 1 to 9, there was a shift in his life and destiny. What does it mean to touch God? What does it mean to have an encounter with God? It means the ability to connect to God. What does it mean to have an encounter with God? It means the ability to come in contact with God. Coming in contact with God. Ability to connect with God. And you see, beloved, your connection determines your life activation. Your connection determines your life activation. And the contact you make with God determines what you attract to earth. The question is, are you ready for an encounter tonight? Are you ready to touch God tonight? Listen to me. I don't know how you came into this meeting, but God is said. I don't know how you came into this meeting. Maybe you came in beating, battered and shattered. God is said to mold you again. Maybe you came with a load. God is here to take that load off you.